Most people think toxic marriages begin with screaming and chaos. They imagine doors slamming, insults flying across the room, and neighbors hearing the fights through thin apartment walls. But the truth is much quieter than that. The most dangerous marriages rarely start with cruelty. They begin with love, promises, and hope. And sometimes the person being hurt doesn't even realize what is happening until years have passed and they look in the mirror wondering where the person they used to be disappeared to. When she first met him, he made her feel like the most important woman in the world. He noticed things about her that other people overlooked. The way she laughed too loudly when she was excited. The way she talked about her dreams with bright eyes. The way she believed that life could still be beautiful even after difficult days. He told her those things were special. He told her she was different. He told her she was the kind of woman men rarely find. In the beginning, he was charming and attentive. He opened doors for her, sent sweet messages, and talked about the future as if it was something magical waiting just around the corner. Friends said she looked happier than they had ever seen her. Her family believed she had found a good man. Everything looked perfect from the outside, but the truth about slow emotional damage is that it rarely announces itself. It arrives quietly, disguised as small comments. The first time he criticized her, she thought it was harmless. "You talk too much sometimes," he said with a small laugh. She laughed too. Everyone has flaws. Nobody is perfect. Later he said, "That dress doesn't really suit you." She changed her clothes. Then it was, "Your friends are a bad influence." She stopped seeing them as often. Then it became, "Why are you so emotional all the time?" She started hiding her feelings. None of these moments felt serious on their own. Each one seemed small, but together they slowly began to reshape her world. She wanted to be a good wife. She wanted peace in her marriage. So every time he pointed out something he didn't like, she tried to fix it. What she didn't realize was that every adjustment she made moved her further away from the person she used to be. Months turned into years. The laughter that once filled the house became quieter. The woman who once spoke confidently began choosing her words carefully. Before saying anything, she would pause and think about how he might react. Would he roll his eyes? Would he criticize her again? Would he remind her that she was too sensitive? Little by little, she stopped sharing her thoughts at all. Isolation came next, though she didn't recognize it immediately. He never directly told her to stop talking to people. Instead, he planted small doubts. "Your friend doesn't respect our marriage. Your sister is jealous of us. People don't understand what we have." Those words slowly built walls around her life. Phone calls with friends became rare. Visits with family became shorter. Eventually, she realized something uncomfortable. Most of her world now existed inside the boundaries of their marriage. And inside that space, his voice was the loudest one. The hardest part about emotional control is that it changes the way a person sees themselves. Over time, his criticism stopped sounding like opinion and started sounding like truth. If he said she was difficult, she wondered if she really was. If he said she was weak, she questioned her strength. If he said no one else would want her, a small part of her believed him. The confident woman she used to be slowly faded into memory. Years passed this way. Life continued on the surface like normal. They attended family gatherings, smiled in photos, and told people they were doing well. But inside her mind, a quiet sadness was growing. She often felt tired, even when she had slept enough. She felt lonely, even when sitting beside him. Sometimes she looked at old pictures of herself from years ago and studied the woman in those photos. That woman had bright eyes and fearless laughter. That woman had dreams she talked about openly. That woman looked alive. One night, she held one of those photos for a long time. She stared at it as if trying to solve a mystery. Where did that woman go? How did she disappear? The question stayed in her mind for days. The moment that finally changed everything was surprisingly ordinary. There was no big fight, no dramatic event, just another evening like hundreds before it. He criticized her again. Something small, something meaningless. But this time something inside her reacted differently. Instead of feeling hurt, she felt tired, deeply tired, the kind of exhaustion that comes from carrying emotional weight for too long. And suddenly, a thought appeared in her mind that had never fully formed before. What if this isn't love? That question didn't bring immediate action. She didn't pack her bags that night. She didn't confront him or start a fight. Instead, something quieter began to happen. She started rebuilding herself in small, secret ways. She began reading again late at night when the house was quiet. She watched videos about personal growth, confidence, and independence. She explored skills she had once been interested in but never pursued. For the first time in years, she started doing things just for herself. Then she began searching for work opportunities online. Nothing huge at first, just small projects. Small income, small victories. But each one reminded her of something important. She was capable. She was intelligent. She was not the helpless person she had been made to believe she was. The more she rebuilt her confidence, the clearer her thoughts became. His words started losing their power. The insults that once echoed in her mind began to sound smaller, almost distant. One afternoon, she looked at herself in the mirror and noticed something surprising. Her eyes looked different. There was a quiet strength in them. It had been there all along, hidden under years of doubt, and in that moment she understood something that changed the way she saw her entire life. She had never been weak. She had been surviving. Survival sometimes looks like silence. Survival sometimes looks like endurance. Survival sometimes looks like staying until you are strong enough to leave. The day she finally walked away was calm. No shouting, no dramatic scenes. She packed a small bag with the essentials and stood for a moment in the doorway of the home where she had spent so many years trying to become the person someone else wanted her to be. Instead of fear, she felt something unexpected. Peace, because for the first time in a very long time, she was choosing herself. The road after leaving wasn't perfect. Starting over rarely is. There were difficult days, uncertain moments, and nights where the future felt unclear. But there was also something new in her life. Freedom. She worked hard. She continued building the skills she had started learning. Slowly, she created stability for herself. Her confidence grew stronger with every challenge she overcame. Months later, someone showed her an old photo from years ago, the same photo she once stared at in confusion. This time, when she looked at it, she smiled, because the woman in the photo had not disappeared after all. She had simply been buried under years of doubt and criticism. Now she was back, stronger, wiser, and finally free. And that was the moment she truly understood the most important truth of her entire journey. She had never been weak. She had just been surviving long enough to remember her worth.